Imagine the front door creaking open on a warm March afternoon in Wilson, North Carolina. A mother's arms pull her grown son close after years apart, her face lighting up with the kind of relief that spills into a quick Facebook post. "My baby is home, Lord, I thank you." Friends scroll by and smile, sharing in that moment of family pulling back together. But 5 days later, police lights flash on the same quiet street, turning a home into a place no one can unsee. What pulls a reunion apart that fast? This is the story from Snowden Drive. Welcome to Crime of the Hour, where every hour hides a secret. Kindly like, subscribe, and share. Dana Jenkins spent her 50 years building steady ground for the people around her. She held a reliable job that covered the rent and left time for what counted. Getting her boys to school on time, packing lunches with notes tucked inside, showing up at every event with a chair folded under her arm. Her cousin Joanilla, who lived right next door, captured it clear when she spoke to ABC 11.
She was a very sweet person. Always smiled. I can see her smile right now. She always smiled.
Dana drew strength from her church, Mount Moriah Community, where Sundays meant gathering with folks who'd become family over shared meals and services. She raised her sons with that same steady hand, guiding them through the ups and downs of life in a neighborhood where everyone pitched in. Her youngest, Daryn Cox, turned 15 with the kind of spark that made rooms feel fuller. At Bedingfield High School, he laced up for basketball games, running drills with focus that had coaches pulling him aside for extra pointers. After school, he'd head to practice, then home to tackle homework or shoot hoops in the driveway until the light faded. Weekends pulled him to Mount Moriah, where he helped with the media team, adjusting mics or running sound for the choir. Dana Jenkins, Dana's oldest son and Daryn's big brother, had turned 25 behind bars. He'd served 3 years on charges of larceny of firearms and breaking and entering vehicles, time that kept him away from the family table. On March 25, 2025, his sentence ended through the regular process and he stepped out into the spring air. Dana saw it as a chance to knit things back together. She went live on Facebook that Sunday, March 30th, her voice carrying real lift as she shared the good of having him home. Viewers tuned in, catching the hope in her tone, the way she leaned into family closing the gap. Daryn moved into the Snowden Drive house that week, settling into the space with his things, part of the daily rhythm starting to include him again. Joanilla recalled chatting with Dana in the yard that Sunday night, easy back and forth between cousins, Dana holding her usual outlook even as she carried the load of it all. No one marked anything that stood out sharp. It played more like the natural pauses in rebuilding, questions landing and answers coming measured. Monday, March 31st started in line with the rest. Daryn caught the bus to Bedingfield around 7:30 a.m., backpack slung over one shoulder, off to classes and practice later. Dana headed to her shift by 8, leaving notes on the fridge about dinner leftovers. Daryn stayed in the house quiet through the morning. Daryn got home by 3 p.m., dropping his gear and heading to the kitchen for a break before homework. Dana pulled in around 4, arms full from the store, calling out about heating up the meal. At 5:27 p.m., a call came into Wilson Police Dispatch, details vague at first, marked as an unknown issue at the Snowden Drive address. Officers arrived 3 minutes later, pulling up to the house on the 1700 block. The street stayed calm. Car parked in the drive, front door closed, no movement catching the eye. They knocked and announced, waiting for response that didn't come. Backup radioed in as the first 2 entered, door giving way unlocked. Inside they found Dana Jenkins and Daryn Cox dead from gunshot wounds. The discovery hit the department fast. Tape went up by 6 p.m., securing the single-story home as lights cut the growing dusk. Evidence teams moved in next, cataloging the scene methodically. Positions noted, items bagged for traces, no signs of outsiders anywhere. Neighbors started gathering at the edge, questions pulling them close. Joanilla pushed forward when officers approached her yard, the news landing heavy as she spoke to reporters that night.
I would have never thought he would do something like that. Not like this.
Now to the double murder in Wilson County. We're learning the suspect is charged with killing his own brother and his mother. Police identifying the victims as 50-year-old Dana Jenkins.
Officers swept the area, pulling descriptions and timelines from doors nearby. By 6:45 p.m., a lookout went out for Daryn, 25-year-old black male around 6 feet, last seen heading east in dark clothing. Patrols covered blocks, eyes on the rail lines and side streets. A worker spotting him 4 streets over clocked the time at 5:40 p.m. Cuffs went on at 7:12 p.m. under a depot light, Daryn raising hands as the cruiser stopped. Holding processed him by 8 p.m., booking photo taken under standard lights. Detectives sat him for questions that night. Video active, focus on the afternoon hours. Location at 5:30, any calls placed. He held to no statement, gaze on the wall through the push. Back at the house, techs worked the grid. Shell casings collected, 2 from a .38, paths traced inside. Phone records pulled overnight placed Daryn home solid. No gaps, pings locking the timeline. Prison files surfaced by dawn. Sentence details confirmed, release procedural on March 25th. Family sat for interviews early April 1st. Joanilla on the yard talk Sunday, Dana's steady carry. Cousins noting Daryn's quiet stretches those days. No outside angles turned up. No disputes logged, no visitors flagged. Autopsies closed the loop. Deaths around 5:25 to 5:30 p.m., wounds consistent with close range. Chief Daryn Jackson stepped to Mike's brief outside headquarters. Hold the line, share tips clean, let the work turn. Charges filed by Tuesday morning, April 1st. 2 counts of first-degree murder for Daryn Dana Jenkins. Court appearance that day ran short. Bond denied on risk, him remanded to Nash County. Prosecutors built from the ground. Scene secure, timelines tight, family ties direct. Defense entered not guilty pleas standard. Motions starting on evidence access. Preliminary hearing set for late April, holding the case forward. Witnesses lined early. Responding officer on entry, techs on casings, Joanilla returning to the stand, her words steady. The night before the tragedy, Joanilla chatted with Dana outside their homes. Dana seemed like her normal self. She added to WO voice carrying the weight. Couldn't figure out why he did it and what for. Trial date landed September 15th in Nash Superior. Slots filling with locals and press. Prep dragged summer. Motions on psych reviews but records held no shifts. Openings traced the March days clean. Release to response call. Jury deliberated 8 hours. Verdict guilty on both by evening. Sentencing days later. Life without parole, gavel final. April 12th brought hundreds to Mount Moriah for the service. Casket side by side. Dana's blue dress folded neat, Daryn's jersey atop his. Bishop Blanding led from the front. They loved us, we loved them, especially Daryn. He meant the world to all of us. Our teens here, they're grieving heavily. Vigils followed on Snowden, candles marking porches, neighbors linking arms. Thanks for watching. Kindly like and follow for more.